Hello, I'm Jack Lee from Inspur. I would like to introduce the new migration of virtual machines from VMware to OpenStack. The content of my speech consists of two parts. The first part is the demand from cross-cloud migration, describing market demand and technology trend. The second part includes the current situation of Inspur InCloud operation system and the new migration practice of VMware to OpenStack. Let's start with the virtualization market. VMware is the undisputed leader in the virtualization market, both in terms of functionality, performance, and stability. Many industries in China use VMware virtual machines to host their applications, such as finance. Back to OpenStack. According to IDC, the global OpenStack services market is projected to reach 8 billion by 2023, with a compound growth rate of 29% to 2017 to 2023. At present, the vast majority of mainstream cloud platforms in China, such as Inspur, Tencent, Huawei, are built by OpenStack. OpenStack's features, such as open source, standardized North and South API, has also become the gathering standard of communication, finance, and other industries. It can be said that OpenStack has become the de facto standard for virtualized cloud platforms. In addition, with the development of OpenStack platform and the QM virtualized technology and the gradual optimization and functions and performance, OpenStack can completely match VMware in terms of function and performance. As a result, many industries in China are gradually switching virtual machines from VMware to OpenStack. In the second part, let me introduce the online migration function of Inspur InCloud operating system virtual machines from VMware to OpenStack. At present, many vendors on the market provide offline migration from VMware to OpenStack, but they need to shut down for migration. Manual operations will be allowed, resulting in long business interruptions, and manual operations are prone to misoperation. Therefore, we provide online one-click migration function on the basis of shortening the business interruption process as much as possible. Provide automatic and visual migration. First, I will introduce the Inspur InCloud operating system. We launched the InCloud strategy in 2009. We started with the management of VMware virtual machines. In 2015, we established OpenStack as the core. It has become a comprehensive platform with OpenStack, containers, big data, cloud management, etc. InCloud OpenStack products introduce and enhance the 24 modules in the community and self-developed 12 modules. At present, it has the characteristics of 3 high, 3 integration, and 2 intelligent. In terms of high performance, we have enhanced from the underlying virtualization layer like QM, IO path, etc., to the platform layer like a database, message queue, and web access layer. After our custom performance test, we found that the performance is not weaker than VMware. In terms of high efficiency, last year we conducted the world's largest single cluster test based on the requir version, which was optimized in terms of large scale, high concurrency, and high density, and completed the development of 500 nodes in one day while managing 20,000 virtual machines and concurrent 2,000 virtual machines. No pressure on the platform. In terms of high availability, it is currently possible to achieve high availability on all platforms. The control plane is based on HA proxy and keep alive to achieve high availability of components. And the database is based on Galera to achieve database activities. The computing plane is based on Ascari and console to achieve multi-plane sensing. When a computing node fails, node virtual machines can be quickly migrated to other available nodes. Within 5 minutes, execute 180 virtual machines. When key process such as NOR computer failed, it can be automatically sense and restart. The network layer can realize the multi-plane sensing based on matrix judgment to determine whether the virtual machine is evacuated. Manage network failures and virtual machines when business storage network is normal can operate normally. In addition, in order to ensure the large-scale failure, and virtual machines with the business storage network is normal can operate normally. In addition, in order to ensure the large-scale failure of data center, the fuel mechanism is self-developed, and the evacuation stops when the number of virtual machines evacuation failure reaches the threshold. In terms of integration, the platform can provide virtual machines, bare metal, and containers resources at the same time, and can manage OpenStack, VMware, and public cloud environment at the same time to achieve unified management and unified scheduling. It can provide big data cluster and AI training inference cluster with one click. In terms of intelligence, InCloud operation system provides an AI training and raising platform, support TensorFlow, PyTorch, MXNet, Comfy, and other AI frameworks. In addition, it introduces AIOps based on time series model. It can infer the time when the cluster resource capacity reach the bottlenecks. It also provides root cause analysis, one key health check, and other functions. First, we analyze the difficulties of new migration. The first is disk data reading. Some migration tools need to install proxy software in the virtual machines and obtain disk data through the proxy software. But this will cause intrusion to the user's business virtual machines and does not meet the security requirement of some customers. This is an agentless way to read virtual machines data without making any changes to the source virtual machine. The second is the dynamic acquisition and disk change data. Because we are migration online, the original virtual machine is still running during the migration process. When new disk data may be generated, how to obtain this part of data? The third is the acquisition of memory cache data. During migration process, there will be data in memory cache of the original virtual machine that has not been written to the disk. How about the consistency of memory and disk data? The fourth is the consistency of IP and MAC address before and after migration. Some applications will bind IP or MAC addresses, so the migrated virtual machines need to be consistent with the source virtual machine's IP and MAC address. The fifth is the device driver. Due to device compatibility issues, some operation systems may not start normally due to driver types after migration. This problem must be resolved. Let's briefly understand the architecture of InCloud Manager. The Inspur Cloud Manager platform. InCloud Manager is a multi-cloud management platform that can manage VMware, OpenStack, and multi-public cloud platform through SDK to achieve unified management and unified scheduling of resources. The first is to read virtual machine's disk information without agent, including disk partition size and other metadata and disk content. VMware provided the virtual disk developer kit SDK package, which support reading without install an agent. The contents of the virtual disk after InCloud Manager manages the requir. It can read the virtual machine disk information by calling the VDDK interface. The second is the dynamic perception of changing data during the migration process. It also uses VMware existing technology. VMware provides change block tracking technology, which provide a basis of virtual machine incremental backup, except for the first backup, a complete backup and transmission of the entire. In addition to VM data, subsequent backup only need to query CBT records to obtain which can change blocks. When they only backup these changed blocks, which saves the time of scanning the disk and determining the changed blocks and the amount of data to be transferred, also greatly reduced. Therefore, we need to perform a full backup and source virtual machine disk for the first transfer. After the migration, the subsequent dynamic data is dynamically tracked through the CBT technology and transferred through the incremental backup situation. The third is the problem of data retention in the memory cache. During the migration process, the source virtual machine is still running, and part of the data is in the memory cache and has not been flushed to disk. We use VMware's silent snapshot technology to make the file system of source virtual machine temporarily suspend reading and writing to the disk. During this momentary pause, the data in the operation system cache is copied to the hard disk and then combined with VDDK to read the backup data. Migrate to a new cluster to realize that the migration of memory cache data and ensure the consistency of memory and disk data. Next is the maintenance of virtual machine's IP and MAC address. You should be more aware of this issue. The VMware side obtains the network card information from the SDK, including MAC and IP. The OpenStack side realized that the injection of IP and MAC addresses through Cloud Init and realizes the migration of IP and MAC addresses. InCloud OpenStack encapsulated this function, supported the creation of virtual machines by specifying IP and MAC address, and provide UI and API interface. Of course, the premise is that the OpenStack end network has been planted in advance. The next step is to maintain device driver. For example, what I will need to install drivers in guest OS. Some Windows operation systems are not built in, so OpenStack needs to handle disk and network card drivers. When creating a migration task, we can choose the disk interface type and network card driver type to provide the best compatibility. The default is IDE and E1000, so you can choose the WhatIO type. How to migrate data from the disk to destination virtual machines? We need to create a migration process virtual machine in the OpenStack cluster, which need to communicate with VMware and the OpenStack management network, and can obtain the resource virtual machine disk for backup and incremental backup through the VDDK API interface. After creating the migration data task, you need to create disks of the same number and the size as the source virtual machines in the OpenStack cluster, and mount the disks to migrate agent virtual machine. The proxy virtual machine reads the source virtual machine's data and writes to the corresponding OpenStack volume to realize the writing of data, ensure that the business start automatic after migrating to OpenStack can be achieved through cloud init scripts, etc. Finally, let's sort out the entire migration process. The cloud management platform, InCloud Management, manages vSphere and OpenStack through information such as IP, username, and password. Create a migration agent virtual machines in OpenStack for data migration. Create a migration task, select the virtual machines to be migrated, and select the information related to the OpenStack cluster, including information such as configuration, storage, and network. After the task is created, it will be automatically executed. Call the API to create a cloud disk machine matches. Create a cloud disk matches the source virtual machine in the OpenStack cluster. Mount it to the proxy virtual machines and continually copy the disk data to the OpenStack volume through for and incremental backup. While loop copying after the incremental backup size is less than a contain threshold, the copying is stopped. The source virtual machine is suspended. The OpenStack layer creates the virtual machines through the volume and mounts the data volume. Then start a virtual machine, and the business start automatically complete the migration. That's all. Thank you.